Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. This is coming live from three different channels: Claws, Ganashot, and P Guru's. Wherever you are logged in, please like this video. Unfortunately, General Rajiv Narayanan couldn't make it, but we have General Dushyant Singh and General Ravi Shankar. Generals, Namaskar and welcome to P Guru's channel. How are you?
Namaskar. Very good. Very fine.
Namaskar and thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. General Ravi Shankar, we both talked about, how to do this, topic planning and things like that. We had a discussion. Why don't you set the ball rolling, and then we'll have General Dushyant Singh, weigh in on this. So the post-op Sindoor version 1 paused, version 1. How are Russia-China relations evolving? By the way, in the morning, viewers, we gave you an update on what is happening behind the curtains in China, how the Chinese deep state is fighting amongst itself to find a face acceptable to everybody, that you can watch for the political part. Right now, what's happening? General Ravi Shankar, according to you, sir, you have a slightly different insight on all these things. You are an apolitical person in terms of looking at these relationships. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Let me set the ball rolling. What I'll do is, we all know, for us, one of the most consequential relationship is with Russia, right? And one of the most adversarial relationship is with China. But between Russia and China, they have developed a very strong relationship over the past 3 years. Now, their whole story is about global balance of power. They have a problem with USA, both of them, and it is continuing. It's only now Trump has come and trying to, change it, ununite them is what Trump says, all that. But the fact is that it's there. That's the first part of the story. Second part of the story is, look, about 8-10 years back, there was a talk of Russia, India, China triangulation, right? And when things were, the relationship between Russia and India were, not Russia, India and China were better, people spoke of RIC. And that almost seemed to be an extension or a subset of the BRICS. And the BRICS came about when our relationship was far better with China. And we are also in the same group in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So we have to face off with each other. I wouldn't say face off, meet each other across the table, everything. But yet, we are always suspicious of the Russia-China equation. Right. There's always that lurking feeling, look, will Russia stand by us when we have an issue with China? In some cases, it has succeeded. Some cases, it's not so great. We'll go into each of these, I'm sure, later. But I think largely we need to first understand the Russia-China relationship. So I'll come here with some facts, figures, and then I'm sure General Dushyant will have his own view. In fact, and then we'll take it up by topic by topic where we have to go. Because I think understanding this relationship between Russia and China is of great importance to us. So can I have the slides, please? I'll just go. Yeah, you see, this is the thing. How do we navigate Russia-China relationship post-op Sindoor? That's what the topic is. What do we do now? But let me put it, what I've written down below. It's also understood, despite the fact that there's a no limits relationship between Russia and China, there is also a feeling that they're in the same bed with different dreams. Right? So you have to navigate this relationship carefully. I'll get you some figures. You see, the China-Russia trade just surged after the Ukraine invasion. Okay, this is what it is. It gives you, Chinese imports, Chinese exports, and the overall. You'll see that the exports and imports are balanced. Why? Because China wants oil and gas, energy, and the exports to Russia have been electronics and goods and all that, and dual-use material. Overall, the whole thing has taken off. And the straight line, of course, is the time when the Ukraine war started. Then if you see, China is a key market for fossil fuel exports. Well, I expect a similar graph even for India. After all, it was Russia could sustain the Ukraine war only because of India and China. But we are now talking of that relationship. And then, what is something which we need to be concerned and we need to take note of is the increasing exercises between China and Russia. Look, despite all the bonhomie with Russia, we don't conduct so many exercises. In fact, we hardly conduct any exercises, right? And you see the number of exercises and you see the location. It's all over the world. So there is something which we have to take care of. Russia, Pakistan, uh, China, North Korea, Iran, in some form or the other, conducting exercises all over the world, which is completely antithetical to a Quad or India-US relationship, which we value more. So this is something which we have to understand. Okay. And then, of course, exchanges between students, China and Russia has increased. And surprisingly, Chinese students go to Russia, no one goes to China. Okay. Now, conversely, the dependence of China on Russian arms has decreased over the year. But the dependence on technology has gone up. Okay. For example, you can take this slide off, please. Right. So, these are the things which are in the thing. Like I said, there's the issue of global balance of power. You're talking of relationship which is rapidly expanding. It is opaque. It is very consequential. Why I've said global balance of power 2-3 times is, China believes that the global balance of power is between Russia, China, and USA. Suddenly, here we come and say we are also in the game. So how does it fit, right? And so many other things. And we should understand that Russia survived all financial sanctions thanks to China. Okay, and China is the largest customer of oil, and if Russian economy is doing well, it's thanks to China and India, right? In fact, the collaboration extends even to making movies and building base on the moon, space collaboration and all. But there are other issues, right? We'll come to that. We can discuss that later. But the question is, how do we navigate it? That is what the question is. Having understood, you see, the fact is that Russia and China can't do without each other, right? We, to a large extent, can't do without Russia. And to a large extent, we should have nothing to do with China. And especially after Op Sindoor, right? Especially after Op Sindoor, our equation with China is completely adversarial. I mean, that's the thing. Whether it is official or unofficial, the animosity against India is very high within China. So we are in this strange situation, and I would say, and we need to. And of course, our relationship with Russia has an impact on the relationship with USA. I'll take one more minute here before I'll close. We have to understand large part of the US stance against us, right, and for Pakistan in Op Sindoor is because of our stance with Russia. It's a
Russia.
payback. Yeah, it's a payback. It's a payback we've got. So we have
Actually,
issues.
General Dushyant said this thing last week. Sir, please continue.
Yeah. I
Dant
mean,
Institute. Yes.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, this is not, the rocket science.
Yeah.
This is common sense. Yeah. So I think I've spoken enough to start. Let Dushyant come in and then we'll examine this a little more in detail later.
Yes. Before I bring in General Dushyant Singh, I want to put one statement. Just give me 1 second here. I had it in front of me. I seem to be missing it now. Okay, I'll get it lined up. General Dushyant, please come in with your initial statement, sir, and then we will go a little bit more into that PowerPoint presentation. I just wanted to say that when this war started between Ukraine and Russia, Russia requested China to help produce more, like you said, dual use. So China goes there and China says, look, your production technology is post World War II. So it is believed that China has dragged Russia kicking and screaming to modern day robotics based technology manufacturing. And that is the reason why now, at least since in the last 1.5 years or so, Russia has kind of started becoming self-sufficient in its own arms and armament. So there was that contribution also from China to Russia. I'll stop here. General Dushyant, sorry about this. Please take over, sir. Your initial thoughts.
Okay, thank you very much, Ayaji, for calling me. First of all, as far as this geopolitical situation which has been emerging since 2022 is not really a product of Sindoor only. It has been a product of the Russia-Ukraine war, and before that, the mechanization which was done between uh, uh, President Putin and President Xi Jinping when they announced in the month of February 2022 that the Russian and the Chinese friendship is ironclad, or words to that effect. So I had some interactions with with some Russian think tankers, and they were talking about, when I asked them, how are you sustaining the war with so many casualties happening and with so much of equipment also getting damaged, what they said was that their manufacturing capacities have been enhanced manyfold. Now, how they have been enhanced manyfold is the answer which you gave, that there has been
Yes.
a very direct support of the Chinese as far as the manufacturing capability, surge capability of Russia is concerned. It is, in fact, 4 to 5 times more than the Western world. And that is one of the reasons why they are sustaining. The second thing which I find that why Russia is getting more and more close to China is the facts which are mentioned by Jan Shankar, which are related to economy and the dual use technologies which have been going to Russia over a period of time. The economy in specific terms, while in the graph you saw it, it's about $240 billion per year. That's the kind of Russia China trade which is that is the kind of trade which is taking place between Russia and China, which is huge. I mean, India and China, despite all our frictions, go around 120 to 135 billion dollars. That's the range. The second thing is where the Russians have played smart is that they have developed a kind of a friendship which is supporting them, whether it is Iran, whether it is North Korea. You saw when they were deficient of troops, they went to North Korea. So they are actually becoming more and more transactional. Now that transactional bit should give us the hope that Russia may come to you also if they are in dire need and the Chinese cannot give it to you. So it's not all I would say doomsday as far as India is concerned. And more you'll find all the countries are becoming transactional in their international diplomacy, whether it is the US, whether it is the Russians, or whether it is the Chinese. As we are talking, there is a quad naval exercise going on off the coast of Hawaii. So while in the public there is a lot of hula bula of US India relationship taking a different turn based on these statements which are being given out by Trump, but behind the scene, people are working towards improving the relationship with the key players in this, and the logic for everything is transactional. And where India can really exploit that transactional thing, I've been analyzing this issue. I mean, if you go and look at various articles, etc., they only talk about diplomacy and how we should navigate between the Russia China without, and Russia US without annoying China. These are theory, but where we can actually make a difference is the defense procurement. It is this particular leverage which everybody is eyeing as far as India is concerned. If you look at Russia, they are giving you a very sweet deal of Su-57. If you look at America, they are trying to do all these tariff and other related pushbacks to ensure that they get their stuff stuff into India, whether they are the javelins, whether they are the strikers, whether it is F-35, and the whole lot of predators. Even the predators, the deal was almost finalized, but it has been held back for a while. So what I'm trying to say is that the defense procurement is one carrot which India is offering for everyone to kind of latch on to, which we should exploit. So as far as this geopolitical situation post Russia, post Op Sindoor is concerned, people have been raising some concern that Russia has quietly supported Pakistan and later on it withdrew its statement vis-a-vis China is concerned. I would say that's a normal thing. You see, given the kind of support which Russia is getting from China, it has to maintain this facade of neutrality. We have to work behind the scenes to get what we want from Russia. But on the same hand, I think we need to diversify our approach now, become more and more transactional, get our defense needs, which is a priority as of now. Get our defense needs from wherever it is possible: Israel, France, Germany, or US or Russia. And toward this effect, let me tell you, the government of India is already working. It's not that it's something in theory. People are approaching these nations to ensure that in the next round, like you said, Op Sindoor pause, Op Sindoor 1 pause, maybe Op Sindoor pause 2 will be there. Sorry, Op Sindoor 2 will come soon, or sooner or later it has to come. So we should be prepared for that kind of a thing. So in my view, Russia China is a given. We have to deal with it as a reality. And to deal with this as a reality, China has to be managed well. Russia, I am sure that we will be able to deal with them comfortably. It's the Chinese angle which we have to deal with it. And for Chinese, we don't have that defense leverage also, because we won't like a Chinese equipment to come to our side, given the kind of performance which these guys have done. So there, I would recommend a little, I would say, out of the box solution, and which is that we need to keep playing in the gray zone as far as China is concerned, and continue to respond to any Chinese gray zone activity with tit for tat. As you know, that they are actually targeting through cyber and through other attacks India on a number of ways. So I'll stop here with this and take this discussion forward as we go along.
Before I come to you, General Ravishankar, I just want to put one statement from our viewers. Sudarshana Avare, Namaskara. So what he has written here, he has written it in Kannada. Endaro Mahanubhavulu, Andariki Vantanamulu. Take a minute and take a look at it. What he has written is Telugu. A Kannada speaking person has written in Telugu, and this is a famous song that was sung by Tyagaraja, who lived in Tamil Nadu. I mean, you look at this linguistic chauvinism that they put out, it's all bollocks. Unfortunately, this is where our politics are wrapped up in. I'm not going to spend too much time, but I just found it striking that he found it. And by the way, General Dushyant Singh, what it means is, General Shankar knows what it is. Sabhi Mahanubhavon ko mera namaskar. That's what it means. Sabhi, and he's greeting all three of us, and thank you so much. So back to you, General Ravishankar. I'd like you to put that slide back up, and I have one question on one of the slides.
Yeah. Put it up.
Yeah. One second. I have to bring it up.
Yeah.
Next one, please.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can move this thing around. No, I can't.
No, you can't.
No, go back. Go forward, sir. Go forward. Next one. This one. General Ravishankar, if you look at the Russian exports, arms exports to China, it has been tapering off, and also the other arms also are going. Now, how is Russia dealing with the fact that China gets something from Russia as an arms and immediately sets about copying it?
Okay. I think we should take it off. I'll explain to you. You see, the point is, we have to understand that the Russia-China equation was never great. Historically, never great. Okay, this whole story has started off with Ukraine war, and fundamentally, Putin went to Russia because he was put under tremendous pressure by
Putin went to
USA.
China. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, China, because he was put under tremendous pressure by USA. It is actually USA which has driven Putin into the Chinese arms.
Yes.
Okay. Till then, they were selling. Uh, and you also have to understand the sales and the transfer of technology took place when really USSR broke down. When USSR broke down, this whole story started. And when uh, technology, everything was available at almost no cost, and it went to, and China paid and picked it up. In fact, the offer came to us for whatever reason we didn't take. In fact, that was quite a foolish thing which we did, but we did it. That was thinking at that time. So factories as a whole, designers, thinkers, R&D establishments were moved to China, and China started making. But then China had its own problems. They couldn't replicate exactly what Russia did. Okay. Notwithstanding this modernization business and all, Russia believes in age-old manufacturing processes, and they're very solid. I've been to some of their factories. They're crude, effective, and good. Okay. The Chinese factories are all modern, high tech, and bas wahi China ka mal, chale to chand tak, nahi to sham tak. That's the fundamental thing. We should never lose sight of all this. Okay, so the Russians transferred a lot of technology to China, and they started giving arms also. And China started making, and that is why you see this tapering off. And Russia could do nothing about it. In fact, for them, whatever China would do was good enough because they were struggling. You see, till about 2001, 2005, 10, Russia was really struggling. It's only after 2010 that things started moving, but by then China had enough technology with them and they could continue. So I think this is a paradox one must understand. Now, let us come to our story. What are we interested in this equation? First, take the case of S400 and S300. You see, in this, you have to understand that Russia has played well by us. They've given us S400, but not given China S400. China is still left with S300. When China copied S300 and made it the HQ9, it failed in Pakistan. So, to that extent, there is something good which happened. Now, how do you ensure that whatever you get from Russia today, you it's not passed down to China also simultaneously? So that's the question which we have to answer, and we have to open, and that can be only done by diplomacy, and that can be only opening a two-way thing, and we have achieved it to a large extent by bailing Russia out. And we have to also position ourselves to Russia and say, look, you want any help with USA, you have to come through us. And they know it, right? And so your dealing with China has to be okay. So that is one part of the story. The second part of the story, which is very important, is last year or the year before last, China came out with a new standard map. The new standard map also included parts of Arunachal and all that, and also parts of Russia. The
Vladivostok. Yeah.
yeah, Vladivostok. Vladivostok is a contentious issue. So, right, and that is something which Russia, is sensitive about. I think this is something which we need to play up. Okay, there's another thing. I mean, today I read an article in New York Times. Very interesting article. It says on the surface they might be good friends, but internally the intelligence agencies treat each other as enemies. So this is a transactional relationship. And what Trump is doing is interesting and important. And trying to unite Russia and China. Trump might succeed, not succeed. That's a different story. But whatever he does, he'll put the seeds of doubt in China. And that is something which we need to capitalize on. And that is where we also need to understand that we have to be transactional with USA.
Yeah.
Right? So we need to be transactional. There are times when we'll still need US. You see, you need USA to handle Russia on this front. You need still USA to handle China. Okay. You still need US market for us to take off our economy. Uh, Otherwise, economy won't stop. It will keep going up. It's a matter of only the rate at which it will go up or down. So this is something which we need to completely understand, right? And we have to handle this sensitively. So the next thing is, of course, the fact that how do you reduce the number of exercises which they are doing and all that. And we now have to probably tell Russia, look, their equipment and all that has not done well. So why are you going militarily with them? I mean, we'll have to do a new track with Russia. But will it work? It might work, might not work. The next thing is this business which people keep talking, Russia, Iran, China, North Korea, that thing. We can play on that. We have a good equation with Iran. So you go to Iran. So is there a case for us to develop, some kind of a relationship, Russia, Iran, and India, and keep China out? And China is worried about Russia and in Iran and India's closeness. China is worried about Chabahar port. So you have to play this game. You will have no definite answer, but you have to continue playing this game. You have to continue playing on the Russian fears of, the border, everything. So this is something which we have to play smartly. And if you don't play this smartly, we will be, missing the bus. It is a sensitive thing, like what General Dushan said. We need to re-look at our own story. Okay, there's another thing where we can cooperate and do well. You see, a lot of countries have Russian equipment. Okay, a lot of countries have Russian equipment. And today, Russia is not able to service them. Can we deal with Russia and do that? Can we get Russia involved in some of our technology things? Because look, Russia has given you a lot of good things. Like Russia has given you a submarine, it's given you nuclear plants, it's given you steel plants. Going back, we have a great equation with them, right? So how do you, navigate this is all up to you. How do you leverage what you have is up to us. And we have to play a balancing game, not only with China, we also have a balancing game with USA also, like what General Dushyant was highlighting in a different format. Now, okay, let me see. Is there anything else No, just take it off. We don't need it. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't need this. Yeah. So these are the issues which I think, have to look at. We also have this Shanghai Cooperation Organization Forum. You see, the Central Asian republics are a source of friction between China and Russia. Why? No, take it off. Take this off. We don't need it.
Yeah.
See, the Central Asian republics were considered the backyard of Russia, but now China is increasing its linkages with them, which Russia doesn't like. Okay, and when Kazakhstan had problems, it was Russia which had to come in. China couldn't step in. Also, in fact, Russia didn't allow China to step in. So there are problems with this whole story. And there are issues in Africa also, where there is competition between Russia and China on influence. So I think we need to play this game bigger and not just bilateral relationship between Russia and India and hope like hell that it doesn't go bad. So that's the larger picture. This is what I had to say. I mean, I'm sure Dushyant has more to talk about it. Over to you, Dushyant.
General Dushyant, if you would like to comment on what he said, I have a question for you, sir. But if you would like to comment on what General Shankar said,
Yeah, actually, I had a whole lot of things to say. So first of all, I would say that we should read Russia in a very nuanced manner. see, if you look at the statement given out by Lavrov, he offered India to recommence the RIC.
RIC,
Somewhere
yeah.
they are somewhere they are trying to look at balancing the excessive Chinese influence in this relationship of Russia, China, and the car nations. So, which is the point in favor of what Jan Shankar just told. The second thing, the US is quite apprehensive about BRICS. Now, if the US is apprehensive about the BRICS, now this is something which we should leverage as far as the US is concerned. At the same time, we need to ensure that the diversification of our defense systems, which is taking place, must be done with a careful consideration. S-400, for example, now if they get proliferated to the other countries and indirectly comes to Pakistan, now that will be a kind of a concern to us. So we need to keep playing up with the Russians to ensure that the technology upgrades or the level of technology of S-400 which goes to these countries is not that which we can't counter in a future conflict. The second thing is more important in this Russia, China, US configuration or equation is how do you manage China? Now, I would like to here highlight that we are somewhere reacting to the Chinese gray zone. Why can't we start our story of the Tibet reclaiming? Now, Tibet reclaiming, there are a number of organizations in our country which are trying to revive this. They're not getting that right kind of funding. They're not getting that right kind of heft to ensure that the Chinese are also kept at tenter hooks. So we only respond to if they have named some places in the Chinese, we name them in the Tibetan language, etc. It has to go beyond that. It has to go beyond this reactive method of countering the Chinese. We have to start our own narrative. Dalai Lama is going to have his birthday, 90 years old. What are we going to do with the future? I don't see any movement taking place on that, whether by any think tank or whether by anyone. We have a lot of leverages, we are just not utilizing it. That is the way to manage Chinese as of today. Otherwise they will continue to keep sending these what tidbits to keep troubling us on the borders as also diplomatically. Then the next issue which I wanted to highlight was that Indo-Pacific, we suddenly just got quiet about Indo-Pacific. Why? If the US has to be managed, then the Indo-Pacific has to come back into fore. If Indo-Pacific has to come back into fore, if they are doing exercises all over the world, let's also start activating our Malabar and activating all our other exercises. Navy was not employed in this Op Sindoor. They are at large, at totally free. They can plan a number of exercises which can act as a counter and also manage the Chinese. I'm telling you, without the Chinese active collaboration, Pakistanis will go nowhere. Pakistanis are, they're as good as done deal as far as India is concerned. They can only be a pinprick, and that's how we should treat them. Last bit which I wanted to highlight was that strategic autonomy. This word, I think we need to redefine. This diplomacy which we are talking about has to change. Our entire approach has to be willy-nilly. If you look at the overall options, we are getting pushed into the Western bloc, whether we like it or whether we don't like it. So we need to operate with this kind of an orientation that ultimately, even if there is a alignment of forces in the future, which side are we going to be? Are we going to remain neutral or and jump in like the Russians did in the Second World War at a much later stage, or are we going to jump in right in the beginning? Because I see a global confrontation taking place, whether it is over Taiwan, whether it is over Ukraine, we don't know. And the way things are, the way Putin is responding to the mother of all attacks, I call it as 9/11 replayed in Ukraine, Russia, is something which everybody is guessing. Even the EU is quite worried about it, and of course, US remains a little confident that you are too far from the European mainland, so nothing might happen to them. You never know. They may get surprised, and they may get surprised quite badly. So with that, I will stop here to say that there is a lot of fluidity, and in this fluidity is always an opportunity. and India must
Yeah,
seize those opportunities and go ahead with it.
Thank you so
I
much,
go with
General Dushyant Singh. Before we come to one second, sir. Viewers, request all of you to like it wherever you are watching this from, whether it's Claus or Ghana Shot or P Gurus. We need to be having a much bigger audience because we have touched upon things that have not really been touched upon. I'll give you another example. There is a slowdown in the tech industry. Layoffs are continuing in the Silicon Valley, and this is going to reverberate in India. We're going to have a large workforce who's very intelligent, very hardworking, without a job. I have been advocating for the last 1.5 years that people should need to understand, learn, read, write Russian, so that because world needs a lot of Russian programmers' help. People have bought Russian equipment. Russia is not able to service them. You could do that, but you need to understand, read, write Russian. And for that, I had said learn 6 months of Sanskrit because you need a bridge. Whichever language you are is your mother tongue. Learn Sanskrit first because Sanskrit, grammar and Russian grammar are easier to relate. It's like you know knowing something, getting to the next point which you know, and from there you go to Russian. Much easier to do it. Russia has a processor just like the Intel family processor. You just need to. So that means you know the basic stuff in the sense that you know the hardware that you are dealing with, but you need to understand how to do the software changes and manipulation. So my request to both of you gentlemen, how do you see this market? That is, you alluded it, like maintaining Russian equipment all across the world. This is also one such core critical requirement, and Russia has a lot of rupees to spend.
look.
I'll
Let
go
me get
to
to
General Ravish.
no, no,
Yeah,
no. Let me talk of something else which Dushyant
sure.
spoke, and we'll come back. Like what he said. See, just 2 days back, yesterday, I did this Future of Tibet, and India has to start something big in Tibet. It's not just naming places. That season has gone. Okay. Eh, If you want to you want to push China, you have to, handle Tibet big time. And that's why I put this out to everyone. All of you can have a look at this. And, again, those who are in P Gurus, who are in, Claus, whatever channel, have a look at it. I did a pretty detailed one on this. And I go 100% with what General Dushan says. The second thing, you see, this is a triangular relationship. How do you handle, how do you navigate the Russia-China relationship? While we have an equation of friendliness with Russia, we can handle China on our own. Please understand this. It is not as if China is God's own. You need a lot of information for that. You have to start an information campaign. In this thing with Pakistan, there's so many holes which have come up on which we can talk. Right. The second thing is just before Op Sindoor started, I think we did a thing, will China button and something like that. I think in our channel, both of us only did, will China come in and will China intervene? And you found that China couldn't intervene. They supported Pakistan. Yeah. But there are issues. China needs India. Please understand, there's a dependency of China on India.
Correct.
If everyone, right, and that is something we're not exploiting. You're not playing China. You're not playing China the way it should be played. Okay. As much as it is this thing, there's a limit to what China can do with Pakistan. What is that limit? Actually, that limit has come out in Op Sindoor. This is my submission. Why? Precisely why you started this whole story today. You first said you spoke of Xi Jinping and all that. There's a mess in China. And I've spoken of this also in a video called Where is He? Where is Xi? And I explained the complete Politburo, what's happening, Wang Yang coming, and there's a bloodbath on in China. There are 3 generals who've been killed. I've never seen China in such a mess after the Gang of Four were, sorted out. From then to now, today China is in that state. One doesn't know whether Xi Jinping is in chair or not. So, are we, navigating the India-China relationship in the right manner? So that Russia gets confidence to say, okay, I know how to stop him. See, as much as you go and tell Russia, don't do this, Russia should have the confidence, okay, if I don't do this, nothing will happen to me. So I think the reverse of this is also a very important thing. Now come to arms sales and what you said, Russian equipment and all. I will take it one step higher. I'll take it one step higher. What has uh, Sindoor taught us? What has Sindoor taught the whole world? Indian arms are good. Indian weapon systems are good. Indian make is good. Make in India is good. Or and cheap. It's not only good, it is cheap. It is battle tested. It's not only battle tested, even Chinese weapons are battle tested, but they have failed. Our weapon systems have battle tested and have succeeded. And this is something which we need to, maximize on. We need to maximize on MRO in a big way. MRO is not only for aircraft, MRO is also for ground systems and many systems. And in this, can we partner with Russia? Can we partner with USA? Can you find new markets in the East and the Middle East and in Africa? Like I said, the global dependency on Russia is still high. And Russia is not able to service them because it's stuck in its own story. So then what? Okay, the next thing is there is some effort to, get the Ukraine war to a closure. Okay, there is some effort. Which way it will go, we don't know. But isn't it time for us to say, yeah, let's help them out to reach that solution? We have not done anything about it. I know it's a bugger's model. There are a lot of angles in EU, there's a lot of angles in NATO, there's a lot of angles with Turkey, there's a lot of angles with USA, and all that. At least now you step up to the plate and say, look, let me help. You've done your bit. Let Modi ji go to both and say, bhai, abhi wo yuddh ka time nahi hai, band karo. Maine bhi band kar diya, tum bhi band karo yaar. You have to start something new. You can't say, "Main wohi baitunga, Russia should not go to China." Why will Russia not go to China? It will keep going to China if you don't wean it away. Are you making? Look, historically, I wouldn't say historically. If you go back 20 years back, Putin made this thing. He said, "You include me also part of NATO." Putin has gone on record to say, "Include me in part of
Yeah.
NATO. Put me in
Yeah.
EU." Why do you want to have this enmity? Okay, can you facilitate something halfway there? I mean, you have a lot of leverage which we are not using. As a nation, at times we are stuck only with Pakistan. इससे ज्यादा हम देख नहीं सकते. These idiots who are there, ignore them. Yeah, you are 10 times their economy. Today morning only, I had a thing, of how to deal with, the new normal which we are dealing with. What is the new normal? I mean, let's talk of the new normal between Pakistan and India because we're still in Sindoor season. World Bank report, it says the incidence of poverty in Pakistan has gone up by 45%. Can you imagine 45%? The incidence of poverty in India has reduced. In the past 10 years, in the period of this report, the same report, the number of people whom we have lifted out of poverty is 269 million. Can you imagine this figure? 269 million. 269 million is one Pakistan plus Sri Lanka, maybe. I mean, what are we talking of? Why are we talking of this idiot called Pakistan? Bhuka nanga. उसको पानी बंद करो और चलते बनो यार. वो चाहे उसको US, let Trump go and do what he wants and give give a little money to Balochistan. Balochistan will do everything for us. Baloch people and TTP people will do everything for us. You don't have to do anything. Then you concentrate on. I think we need to now start doing a different thing. You have proven your point. You hit him hard. Now it is coming out. It's not 11 air bases where you hit him another 10 air bases. Whether he's manufactured it or not, he's agreed that you hit him, no? So it's not 6-0, it will be 20-0. They say na 6-0 Rafale. It will be 20 or infinity 0. There's a difference. Okay, you challowed a train to Kashmir. End of story. Kashmir is gone for them. Finished. Trains have their own bloody way of connecting people and changing things. Right? Can you think? I mean, we are not talking of all this. Why we? That's the way I look at it. I think we need to now. Op Sindoor has put us into a new normal. That's a new normal which our Prime Minister said. We are on a new normal. And that is why I suggested this topic to you. This entire business of Russia, China, India, we have to think differently. And I'm glad that so many questions have come out. I mean, this is what I thought I'll put across. Your views and, of course, Dushan's views, and then we can take probably questions.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. General Dushan.
Well, I think I tend to agree with Jan Shankar. I would give a one-liner comment that let's change our game now. The
Yeah.
game has to be more proactive. The game has to be both over the table and under the table. The world will listen to you because you have some heft. When I said that, use defense procurement as a leverage, one must get the message.
Yeah.
I am now talking of defense procurement as a gray zone initiative. You're getting
It
my
is
point?
not only gray zone.
You get something from country A, the country B starts flapping around. Something
Yeah.
we should do, something we should, because if we are good at it, then we can play around with the people what they want them to do. If they want to promote their defense industry, give them a little bit of dana there, right? And if the Russians want something, start a joint venture with them. That is the way the other guys will start, reacting to your
Yeah.
mechanized missions. So I think we
Yeah.
can take on the questions.
Yeah. I have one last point to make. You see, remember what happened day before yesterday? Till day before yesterday, all of us were saying, "Oh, will Modi ji go to G7 and all that?" Oh, Mark Carney rang up and he told Modi, "yaar, aa jao idhar. If you don't come, we won't go anywhere." And despite the fact that Khalistanis and everyone are making a lot of noise, Khalistanis, Pakistanis, and all these buffoons are making a noise in Canada, Carney has said, "You please come because without you, this G7 is useless." Why? These are all rich countries who are in poor shape today. Their economies are all in dumps. They need India. With the way things are going with China, the only alternate to China is India in scale and size and shape and population. I mean, let me highlight. Yesterday, General Dushyant was having a talk with uh, three Americans,
Yeah.
think tanks. Okay, he was talking. So one of those Americans, this lady who's actually an Indian, but then an American Indian is more American than Americans many times. So this lady started saying, the things in India are slow, things don't move, yeah, wo, all that. Oh, bhaiya, whether slow or not, this is what we are. If you don't want to go, no one is there for you. That's the way we have to handle things now. It's the other way around. If Apple has come, Apple is not a fool to come and say, "I will have my biggest factory in the world in India." If Apple comes, the bloody pomegranate also will roll by. It'll come. It will not go. Where will it go? Uske piche something else. The bananas also will come. So they will happen. Yeah, we have to have that confidence that people can't. Gone are the days when you could be spoken to. Okay, you now will be spoken about.
Is Elon
There's a
round the
shift
corner? No, is Elon Musk round the corner?
around the corner. So you will be spoken about, and you be prepared to be spoken about. Don't we all curse USA? Don't we all curse China? Why? They're powerful countries. So good if people start talking ill of India. That means we are arrived. So I think we need to shift our gears. I rest my case.
And before we go to Q&A, viewers, I must tell this to all our expat Indians. You have a certain image of India when you left for other shores. And you only get like a small glimpse, a small window into India every time you visit India. don't use that to frame your opinion about India. You should be a little bit more broad-minded. And I've been saying this on my channel. Every time I go to India, I see things get even better and better, and you can actually get many things done in a day, which used to be not possible before for various reasons.
Yeah.
But not so anymore. Not so anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to put one point here. India is a land of snake charmers, isn't it? Every time
Yes.
everyone thinks of snake. These days, snake charmers, they use AI to get the snake up. Okay, things have changed. You will see a bloody AI snake coming up. People have to understand there's a change which is happening. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.